Hey guys, I am Emmeline, and if you're new here, thank you so much for choosing to tune in to this video, or rather this YouTube channel. I am pleased to have you here. In this channel, we do sit downs, fun, and style. Speaking of style, it's been a minute. I haven't done a style video in a long time, but it's coming, okay? Today, as usual, I have my green tea here. It's a bit later in the afternoon. Yeah, but I decided to, I love doing my videos taking something, so I thought this would be the best time to do this video. Anyway, as you have seen by the title, I will be giving you my reasons, or rather explaining to you why I quit my job after 2 days of working. I know, if you're there, like, I decided to share this video because I know there are many people who unaweza kuwa umejipata in such a situation where you feel like you want to quit your job, you haven't been working there for long, or you are so uncertain about a number of things, and also to let you know the things you're supposed to consider before getting into a job. Okay, so stay tuned and watch this till the end. All right. So, do I make it like a story time, or how do I begin this? Okay. However, bora tu mnielewe. Okay, so as you all know, in Kenya, having to acquire a job is like another hustle. You study and then it's also so hard to get a job. In Kenya, it is nakujua, like ni connections. In short, connections is what works in Kenya. But anyway, whatever. So my friend connected me to someone else who connected me somewhere else. Okay, anyway, a friend of mine texted me na kaniuliza, mambo ulipata job? And I told him no. So he told me, take this number, text this lady, and you're going to talk to her, blah, blah, blah. So I texted the lady, told her, I've been sent to you and I'm in need of a job, blah, blah, blah. She asked me a few questions and told me to send the papers. So she sent me the email where I'm supposed to send the papers. While I was in the process, you remember that video where I was talking about career-based job hunting skills? One of the points I said is always have a soft copy of your papers. So, because at then I was not even at home, I was at my brother's place. So I had my soft copy papers, and when I was about to send the papers, she called me and asked me, Ama, you can be able to come for the interview today. I'm like, ooh, today? So at that time, I'm a bit skeptical, but then I'm like, I don't want to risk this chance, so let me just go. She told me it's not gonna be like a hard test or something like that because they were so in need of a person. No, you're so desperate that you don't have the time to like go so deep into the interview. That was the case. So I told her, yeah, I can make it. I went, I prepared myself, went for the interview. The interview was okay. And when I got home, mind you, this has never happened to me. For all the hospitals I have been applying to, I have never considered doing what I'm about to tell you. So while I was in for my attachment, a friend of mine sent me a list of hospitals that either do not pay full amount, they pay half amount, or don't totally pay. And this hospital was among the hospitals that I was told about. And I was a bit worried. So going back home, I was really, really worried. And I remember talking to my sister-in-law and I'm telling her, hey, I really don't know about this hospital. I'm not really sure if I should go or not. Like, unajua kuna kale kaworry kenye uko nako, cause having to go to work every day and not getting paid. I mean, afadhali tu ukae kwa kichwa ukijua ninafanya volunteer, si ndio, kuliko you going every day to, not every day of course, but you having to wake up early in the morning to go to work thinking you're going to get paid and not totally get paid. So I was a bit worried, but then I told myself, let me first get the job and alafu nipitie tu hiyo risk ya nijue kama hata kunalipwa ama kulipani. And also my sister advised me to do the same, so I relaxed, waited to be called. I waited and I was called 3 weeks later. I was called 3 weeks later and asked if I could come to work. The main reason I was being called for the job was so that I could get in at least at night in case there was a procedure coming in and the other lady would not make it, because the other lady would not make it because she had a little baby, and yeah, they needed someone who did not have a child, someone who could step in at night for cases like that. And I was okay. I mean, it's not like kuna kitu inanifunga, I need that money. So I was really okay with it. But the explanation was not really what I wanted, like what really was there. So nikapigiwa, nikaulizwa if I'm okay with the condition and when I'm willing to start. That was on a Tuesday when I received the call. So I told the manager I was ready to start on Thursday. So that lady mwenye alikuwa ameniconnect akaniambia the things I'm supposed to go with, and yeah, I went on Thursday. On my way to work that morning, I felt like something within me was just asking, like it was just asking me. Something within me was just, ile yenye una feelingi, I really sure about this work, I was still also worried about the payment and everything, but I did not want to focus so much on that. But part of me was also not sure about working in that space. Let me tell you, there is always that feeling, your instincts. Trust that instinct. Do not overlook it. So I told myself, I'm overthinking. You guys, I don't know why, but I kind of feel like, okay, this cold is giving me some, I don't know. Today I felt the strongest to be able to do this video, so I don't know why I'm feeling like my eyes are a bit. Anyway, so I told myself, I am overthinking, let me just go and work. And I went. The first thing I didn't like about that place was the fact that you have to drop your bag at the reception. Like, I think the whole idea was msichukue vitu kutoka theater ama place una work. Like the department you're working from. So the main thing was, I think, because why else would you leave your bags at the reception? So it really hindered me on the kind of things I had to carry. Like I never carried things. Mimi nitabeba tu handkerchief na tissue, simu. Even my fare, I had to walk around with it because, you just can't leave your bag there and just trust no one will come and take it. You have to be cautious of your own things. Ni kama ukipark gari tao, you're parking at your own risk if you're not paying, of course, for the money. And even if you're paying for it, it is at your own risk. They won't be there just looking for... so that was the case. That was the first thing that got me worried, apart from now the not paying kind of thing. Then I was like, that I can handle it because I can limit the kind of things I'm carrying. So that was not an issue. I went to work. I started working and I was introduced to all the people. I can't even remember their names right now, but I was introduced to everyone. And the lady was supposed to work with, that lady, she has a very good heart. Like, she was very humble, very kind to me, and she was just a good person. So she showed me everywhere, everything, the whole theater in short, and she introduced to me like a couple of things. So yeah, the whole working space was okay. That day we were quite busy, but I asked her a few questions, ile unaulizanga 1, 2, 3, so that you can get familiar with the place. And that day we were expecting people from from health to come and like check the hospital and everything, the cleaning, everything, the layout of the hospital, if everything was okay, nini. So when they came to theater, because you have to stay at your own department, so and our and I'm specifically in the theater department. So when we were there, uh, those people were really upset with the whole theater layout. I had not even noticed. At your first day, Baduja noticed Vitu because that day was not like we hadn't had patients, but we were busy cleaning. Hizo vitu zote, so I hadn't really noticed. But the whole layout was really, really long. Was really wrong. I was like, hey, but they never noticed this. Like the whole layout is really wrong. This could cause a lot of contamination, which is risk to both us and the patient, especially the patient. Like, hey. But then I was like, I hope this doesn't cost us our jobs. I was really worried. When you're just starting to work and then it almost seems like you're gonna lose your work and everything. So while we were there doing the whole rotation, there was a nurse who was there and alikuwa ametetea hiyo hosi sana, and then those health people akamwambia, do not protect the owner of this hospital so much, because they will put your license at risk and everything. You're at a risk of losing your job, at risk of your license being taken. And they told them, if you've advised them on where to improve and they don't seem to take an action on it, just leave this work and go, and another work will come. And it made me think a lot, and I'm like, is this God speaking to me through another person? Because having to see things being done wrongly and you're just there because you want to earn money at the end of the month was just not okay. But then I was not willing to risk my, hey, you've just gotten a job and then you want to risk it. Me, I was not ready. I was totally not ready. So they left and the day continued. That day was quite okay. I actually loved it. And while we were talking with the lady, now I think almost to the end of the day, because I was supposed to report at 8 a.m. and leave at 6 p.m. So while we were talking almost at the end of the day, I asked the lady, what really did they mean when they said, ask questions, by the way. Do not just assume things. Ask questions. Me, I'm going to ask you questions. Hey. So I asked her, what really did they mean when they said you're supposed, like, my I would be called to come in for the shift and everything like that. So she told me, in here in theater, first of all, in theater there's supposed to be theater nurses and the theater technicians, but we were only theater technicians in that theater, meaning that was such a weak team, because if there are a lot of patients coming in for the procedure that day, it means you'll have to be all over, which will cause insufficiency a lot. So, but the hospital was not that busy, so it was also okay. But I think if we were 3, it would have been better, at least documentation and all that stuff. Anyway, so I asked the lady what really did they mean, and she told me, kazi yako itakuwa sasa, like, you'll be coming into job every day, but now you'll have one day off, which now I didn't know which day I was going to be given an off, because for her, she was coming in Monday to Saturday and then Sunday was her off day. So like, I would be coming to work every day apart from that one day, and then all these other days, all this time when I'm working, in case a doctor books a case and I'm at home, maybe it's at 10-11 p.m. I'm supposed to come in for the procedure, and I'm like, what? So if I was at home sleeping, or rather if I've just left here at 6 and the doctor calls at 10, it means I have to come back. Hey. And she told me yes. But then she told me that was a rare case, so I was like, okay. And then, I mean, coming to happen once, why not take the risk? Me, I was ready to risk for this job. I'm telling you, desperation is really, really bad. So I was ready to take the work, even though I was okay, like I will just work for a short time. Of course, working at such a state where unakaa home ni kama uko na stress, you cannot even go somewhere peacefully because you don't know if you'll be called, was such was such a was such was so painful, was so stressful. Uko home, uko na stress, ujui kama utapigiwa, unasikia uzime simu na simu ni yako. Because I remember that first day when I went home, I was really stressed. Like, unalala, but unalala na stress. What if they call me at there is a case, come back to hospital? Yes, they might decide to pay for your Uber, but you know that being unable to work in a stable mind is really not okay, especially when you're having to deal with someone else's life. Well, that was I don't even know I was ready to take that risk. So the first day is over. The second day the first day when I got home, my mom asked me about the contract. Like, what did you sign the contract? Because that's the first thing you're supposed to do before you even start working. And I told her, no, we've been quite busy today, maybe tomorrow. So when I went to work the following day in the morning, I asked this lady, but they do her I didn't ask her like directly, so I asked her like, how long does the contract go for? And she laughed and asked me, hey, uko kunanga contract, it is you to work and you may just be laid off any day, any time. Well, and my heart started beating and I'm like, what? How do I just work? And I might work for the entire month, and then when the month is almost over, waniambie kazi yako imeisha. Imagine you guys having to work under such circumstances and there is no contract to show for it. What if they just lay you off one day and tell you, your work here is done and you've not been paid? Hey! And you have been using your fare to go to work. You have been working like a goat and not get paid. Well, but then I was like, let me just take the risk. Let me just take the risk. Because, see, after the end of the month, I will have known. Yeah, so I was ready to take the risk. So that did not even bother me. So, okay, it kinda, but not really to make me wanna leave the job. So that same day, I decided, let me go to the manager because there was no theater in charge. So I decided to go to the manager and ask him how my duties are going to be. So I asked him and he told me, tulikuwa tumeenda na wedding mwingine. So he told me, since this other lady is working Monday to Saturday and her off day is on Sunday, you're going to work Sunday to Friday and then your off day is going to be on Saturday. For a minute, I'm like, what? To be honest, I was a bit worried about having to work all the days apart from one day. But then, nilikuwa tu, okay, ni sawa. But then, mbona uninyime Sunday? Sunday is the only day that was gonna make me feel sane. After working tirelessly, after working so hard, Sunday was the only day that was gonna make me feel sane, And then I want to be spiritually nurtured. I want to feel alive. I want to feel strengthened, because having to work that much and not having to have time to talk to God and feel just secure to God was not my thing. So at that time, I was really confused. So I told him, it's okay. So thinking about it, me call my dad and I told him, this is what I've been told. I don't think I feel so comfortable working here. I didn't just want to quit and they don't know na saizo wamefurahia. You know how parents are happy when the child has gotten work. So my dad tells me, ask them if you can work half day and then the other half day you can come into work. So I asked the manager, and the manager told me, ask talk to the other lady. Hey, so me talked to the other lady, and I asked her, "Are you cool if I come Sunday, like half day, and you like I can come in half day?" And she tells me, "I'm not going to work on Sunday because her whole her whole idea of not working on Sunday was because she has a little baby, and she has a little baby, and the nanny is off on Sunday, so she has to take care of her child on Sunday, which is actually very understandable. And I wouldn't want to put someone at a risk of losing her job because I want to secure mine. So that was a bit hard, and the manager's like, "There's nothing I can do." And I was like, working all Sundays, I mean, that means I won't be able to go to church. I will never be able to go to church. And I got a bit worried. Honestly, I was a bit tensed. And me nikamwambia, if that's the case, then I cannot be able to work. And he tells me, "I'm gonna think about it." Let me tell you, he was not going to think about it. I know it. So mi nikamwambia it's okay, and I left. And then, well, when I was on my way coming home, okay, mind you, I feel like I'm confusing you with this story. Anyway, Adi had cut my nails for that work. Anyway, mind you, when I started work, that was on Thursdays, no. And then that Friday, we were going to Kesha. But I was like, I wanna go to Kesha so much. Like I feel I wanna pray. I feel like I wanna pour out my heart to God. But then how will I be able to go to Kesha and the following day I'm supposed to go to work? Because he told me I'm supposed to like since that I'd work on Thursday and my off is supposed to be on Saturday. But that's a Saturday. I was not supposed to go off just because I've started work juicy too. So I'm not supposed to go for off that Saturday. So that means I have to work on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What? Like, as much as, hey, that was really so unfair. Like, that was so unfair. Having to work continuously like that just because mmeanza kazi juzi, sasa I'm not supposed to go on that Saturday off. Hey. Anyway, so me, when I went home, I had not really made the decision. So when I was on my way home, our pastor called me and asked me to lead the service on Sunday. And ding, that's when I knew this is God wanting me to be there on Sunday. This is God wanting me to serve. This is God. This is God calling me. And that's when I made the decision that I quit this job. I don't care how much has been paid. I don't care how I don't care about anything. So long as this is God calling me, I know he has handled everything. So I was so excited then because I knew at least now I'm going to go for the Kesha. So I went prepared myself and for the Kesha, late on Sunday, nini. So you see how hard that was for me to make a decision. Yeah, so me, I texted the manager and told him I'm not going to come to work tomorrow. Akaniambia you must get in, and I'm like, what? So that's when I told him I have quit the job and I'm not going to come in tomorrow. But to be honest, I really appreciate the time I worked there. Like it was a good acha niache kusugarcoat anyways. So I told the other lady, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to come in to work tomorrow, but I've had a good time working with you. Yeah, so that's how I quit my job. It was not easy. Let me tell you, not everyone is gonna understand you. Like, how do you just leave your job because you're expected to work on Sunday? Wewe hujapitia maisha ngumu, wewe hujaita say, hey, people are gonna judge you, but let me tell you, feel comfortable to make your own decisions because you're making the decisions for you and you have the reasons, and people do not have to understand your reasons for doing that. Okay, so long as it sits right with you, baby girl, baby boy, go for it. You have the absolute right to make a stable decision, to make a decision that sits right with you. Yeah, I hope this was helpful to anyone who is in such a situation where you're not really sure on whether or not to quit a job. So, first of all, do not work without a contract. Hata kama mtaandikiana tu makaratasi hivi sign, work with a contract. It is safer that way. Juande utaambiwa kazi imeisha. And then what? Work with a contract. Second, consider the environment you're working with. Me hata sijawaambia bedhe kila kitu. They were not even given the necessary equipment. Me, like, I was feeling like I was putting my the whole time when I was working there, I felt like I was putting my health at risk because walikuwa napeana tu gloves tu kiasi kiasi. At every time you have to keep on going for it, every time you have to keep on asking for it. You know, that was really not safe, especially when you're working in a hospital. You have to have the necessary equipment at hand just in case there is an emergency. You know, unajua, you don't have to keep running around the hospital. The whole thing of working in a hospital is not for you to keep running like a dog. You have to have all the things at hand so that you can give the maximum care a patient requires. So that was not cool. Unakimbia aje kila wakati ukiendea vitu. That was not cool. I felt I was exposing myself to danger. I was exposing other people's lives to danger just because wana feel utaiba vitu. Anyone who is working in theater, you understand that theater is very delicate. You don't just go out with the attire you had in theater. The attire you had in theater is supposed to remain in theater. Ukitoka nje, you change your whole outfit. And there, imagine you're there, you don't have all the equipment, you have to run all the way to the pharmacy to get gloves, come back with the same. You're collecting germs from outside, contaminating it. Where? Me, I will not sit down and just see people's life being at risk. Yeah. So consider a contract. It is very safe for you. Consider where, like, the environment you're working in, is it conducive? Does it give you mental breakdown? Because if you're working and you're just feeling mentally insane, then just you don't have well, your mental health matters. It matters. And then who are you putting at risk while working there? Those are things to consider. And is your spiritual life being affected? If you're a person who minds so much about your spiritual well-being, then never compromise your spiritual health just because of money. I know money is important, but there are places money won't take you, but your spiritual well-being will take you. Trust me. So that was so fun to share with, and I believe it has been helpful. I hope you have picked one or two things from this video. Okay, thank you so much, and see you in my next late video.